You are not going to believe some of the features in this model home right behind me, and we are about to check it out. But some of these features, I gotta be honest, I've never seen them before myself, so I'm excited to show you those. But we are out here in one of Jacksonville's newest communities, checking out one of my favorite builders, and honestly, they have redesigned this floor plan to a point to where it is going to impress you through and through. So that being said, let's check it out now, and we'll go over to just why this is the next big community here in Jacksonville, Florida. All right, let's start this beautiful tour. So as you see when we first come up with this specific floor plan, the builder did an amazing job giving us a really good, workable, usable front porch. And as you can see too, we have some great ceiling height. They did some wood inlay with the ceiling, and we did finish it off with some pavers for this front porch. Pavers sometimes will be an extra. Sometimes it'll be a standard depending on the builder and the neighborhood. So if you want to know more about if this was a standard on this one, reach out to me. In addition, as you saw, we had the French doors coming in. And then also, as you see, when we do come in, I mean, we get this expansive, beautiful, wide open space. Some people may want a little more of a closed off space to some degree, but this is a space that really speaks, luxury. It really speaks just a very pristine space overall. And again, this is a space that when you have friends over and when you have family over, this is something that they're not going to forget, and something that it's going to be amazing coming home to every day for you and yourself as well. And then also, as we first come in, you're going to notice there's a lot of upgrades with this house. And those upgrades, sometimes do lead to a higher price, but it's not necessarily as high as you may think as we talk about the price moving forward throughout this video. But right away, as we come in, you're gonna see here, underneath the stairwell, the builder did a great job of utilizing the full space, giving us a nice big storage area underneath the stairwell. Because again, when you live in Jacksonville, Florida, when you live in Northeast Florida, having storage space is going to be huge, because even if you have more space than you need at first, you're always gonna find a way to utilize the space, and you always want the space long-term as well. Then again, as we come over here, this is gonna be our door-to-door two-car garage, which is being used currently as their sales center. But we also do have a nice little sitting area, for this mudroom area, which is very nice to be able to come in, take your shoes off. You can hang your bags, the kids get in their backpacks. So again, just something that is really a great way to continually utilize the space to the best of its ability. Also, you're gonna notice as we come through here, we do have some beautiful wood look floors. It's gonna be throughout the whole first floor. And then it takes us into our office. And this office is really cool. They actually gave us like a metal glass doorway coming in, just something that's very custom, very unique, maybe even a little industrial or commercial, but it works. And so I like when builders take risks, when they take chances like that, because it really does give you an idea of what you can do with the space. And as you'll see here, we have super tall 12-foot ceilings with this house. We have the 7-inch baseboards. The builder did smooth walls in this home as well. And this office is a great size. Obviously sometimes you wonder with some of these homes, how big are all the spaces? Sometimes you get a great size primary, but then the office may be small, the other bedrooms may be small. But what you're gonna see here with this floor plan and this specific builder is nothing was left small. So great use of the space across the board. Now we are gonna get over here later on in this video, so stay tuned for that. There's a reason why I'm saving that for later. But then as we come back to our foyer, we also do have a half bath here for guests. So this half bath, is absolutely beautiful with how they did the quartz countertops, how it has like a waterfall effect with the quartz. You have the tile backsplash. And these are things that you may not want to do with yours, but at least you know what it would look like if you did. Because with this builder, the sky's the limit. Whatever you want to do, you could do at a cost, as I'll dive into more throughout this video. Now I know you want to see what's behind me, but before we check out that, let's go upstairs so you can see what all that has to offer as well. So now as we come upstairs, just look at this view from upstairs as well. Now what I love about this builder is they actually rearranged this whole floor plan. So this stairwell is kind of similar to another one of their plans called the Palace Verdis. So it's not necessarily in the way, it doesn't create an obstacle, for your eyes when you're coming into the home. And again, if you want to know what I mean by that, reach out to me with a call, text, email. I'll kind of explain how they changed this floor plan around to really utilize the space in an even better format. But then we come out to our front porch. And what's really cool about the front porch is, they do have different layouts, different options, different elevations. So if you don't want the front porch, I believe you could actually get rid of it. But again, it becomes another usable space, gives another space where, you could hang out. On a day like today where we have a nice breeze, beautiful skies, I mean, I could see myself spending a lot of time out here, and maybe you could too. Because again, when it comes to living in Jacksonville, Florida, a lot of times people do really want to focus on, spending time outside because of just how great the weather is typically year round. And again, I mean, that view again, I mean, you cannot beat that view. So then that's going to take us to our loft, as well as an additional 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms upstairs. So right away with this loft, I mean, what more can I say other than just wow? I mean, we are on the 2nd floor, but we still do get 10-foot ceilings due to the recessed ceiling here with the tray ceiling. It's overall a great space with how they utilized it. So again, this is a great space for kids. It becomes a great game room or an area for the kids to be able to hang out with this loft. They also continue the same flooring up here that we saw down below. And then let's just get a quick look over here at this entertainment console, so to speak, that they put in. And I mean, again, maybe not something you would do, but it's really cool to see what you could do if you wanted to with the different tile choices, the built-in effect with the TV, and then also you do still get some floating cabinets down below as well to be able to have that for storage and whatnot. Now let's go ahead and check out the first bedroom though. With this first bedroom, again, it's a good size overall. Things that I do like is they did do recessed sliding here, which is going to be an upgrade. You also do have up here our first carpet, which is very common in the guest bedrooms for a lot of homes, but again, you could change that if you wanted to. In addition, the closet is a standard size closet, but they did do just a single door there. So you don't have sliders, you don't have bifolds, it's just a really nice solid door. They also did some nice window casing here, which is an upgrade. Sometimes you may wonder, really, that's an upgrade? It is, as is the 7-inch baseboards. But again, when you're going to build a home from the ground up with a builder like this, it's important to really consider what you and your family are going to want and need. And sometimes doing it with the builder at the beginning just makes the most sense. Now, we also do have some floating shelves here as well. So that's going to take the place of like a linen closet. And then when we get to the sink, I will say this is probably one of the most impressive guest bathroom sinks I've ever seen, because this is a Jack and Jill setup. And the sink here, I mean, it's almost more again of that commercial industrial look, but just really clean the way they did it, and really is one of those features that just pops at you when you do come into a home like this. In addition, all the cabinetry is going to be soft close, which is an upgrade, but not as big of an upgrade as you think. To be able to do with the builder, makes a lot of sense to do it that way. Then we get to our shower tub combo. And with here, you'll notice they did the tile up to the ceiling, which just makes a lot of sense. In my opinion, that's one of the more basic upgrades, if it's not a standard, to do with the builder. And this builder normally will give it to you as a standard in their primaries, but then the guest bathrooms is where you may have to upgrade it. But again, the tile pattern, very interesting look they did with it, with the subway tile mixed with some non-subway tile, but it comes off very clean and elegant as well. Then we get to bedroom number 2, and this bedroom is about the same size as the first one, and again, still has the same setup with the closet, standard closet, but they do give you that single door, and they even give you some interesting fans as well. But in general, a lot of these things that you see here are going to be upgrades because it's the model. But again, when you build with this builder, they are offering some amazing incentives right now that I'm going to discuss throughout this video that are going to make it almost a can't miss option to consider when moving here to Jacksonville and figuring out who you want to build with if you're buying new construction. But now let's say that you have someone that's maybe an older teenager, or maybe you have like a mother-in-law or a family member that's going to be living with you as well, and you want them to feel like they have their own space. Well, this bedroom gives you just that, because this can be your 3rd bedroom upstairs. You still get plenty of natural light, which I love, along with the recessed lights. But then as we come into our rest of the room, you're gonna see here, we have our own bathroom here. So this bathroom, as you'll notice, I mean, it has a walk-in shower, which is a great thing to be able to have. It does have the tile up to the ceiling as well, which is a great touch. We have our single vanity here as well. So again, if it's someone that's older, having that walk-in is very good to have. And then we do have our walk-in closet, somewhat walk-in closet here as well. So again, just for someone who needs their own space, who needs their own bathroom, really important that you get that with a floor plan like this. But there is still more. So now let's go back downstairs and check out the kitchen and the living room. Now that we're back downstairs, before we go too much further, I do want to highlight that, you may see this open railing here and you may fall in love with it. I know I do. I do want to highlight this is going to typically be an upgrade as well with the builder. Typically a fairly reasonable upgrade to do with them. One of those things that you probably, if you want this, want to do with the builder rather than after the fact. And I do like the fact that they continue those wood treads going up to the second floor, so it matches the flooring down here as well as the flooring upstairs. Just again, just very smart to do it that way and keeps everything very uniform. Then we get to our living room, and this living room here, as you can see, is a very great size living room. And part of the reason for that is the fact that we do have these 20-foot ceilings. And to make it even larger, not only do we have 20-foot ceilings, we also have a tray ceiling up there, which really makes it almost like a 21-foot ceiling. So that tray ceiling, it adds some more height, it adds some more character because they did do the wood inlay in the ceiling. They also did some wood beams up there. So it just really just highlights, maximizes the space. And when you come into a house like this, that's typically where your eyes are gonna first go to, is the ceiling, as well as all the natural light coming in from the transom windows and our oversized sliding glass doors. So in general, I do love when builders, really do things like this because it just helps maximize the space overall. Then before we get to the kitchen, I do want to also highlight this dining room back here. Now, if you're someone who's looking for more of a traditional setup and having a true separation with your dining room, this may not be the floor plan for you, but you still do get some good separation here. And this is a much larger space than this table may give the impression of. This is a 6-seater table, but you still have tons of workable space here, tons of usable space here with the way that they set it up. And you do also get tons of natural light with all the glass on the sides there. You do get a single door to go out to your backyard from here. You get another transom window over here as well, or just, solid window. And then as we come to the back here, this extension, which we'll talk more about when we go outside, it is an upgrade, but it's a very smart upgrade to do if you want to be able to utilize more of your backyard space. And when you do that, you have that ability to also do sliding glass doors off of the back of your dining room as well. So again, just really great use, a lot of great natural light, but then it's gonna take us to our kitchen. And this kitchen, I mean, my God, I love this kitchen. And again, you're gonna hear my excitement throughout this video because I love when builders really step up their game every time they create these new models, because it just really helps give you the impression of they really want to make sure they do a great job, not just for themselves, but also for you as the consumer. So right away as we come in, they did do the Sub-Zero or monogram fridge. They did do it in a way to where it's more of that, has that wood paneling on the front of it, so it matches the aesthetic of all the cabinetry. Again, just a massive fridge and freezer overall. It is going to be an upgrade, but definitely something to consider. You also have storage up top, and then the island, again, you have tons of soft close cabinetry in here. You're going to have your dishwasher, which also has that wood paneling in the front. And then with the countertop, they did a really cool quartz pattern, and they did a waterfall effect with it as well, so it goes down to the floor. So it really completes the look. And this is all one piece of quartz. I mean, this is a massive size quartz right here. It opens us up into our living room, which I love the effect of that. You also do have your nice big deep sink with it. Your garbage disposal up at the top. You have your soap dispenser, which one of those things that actually, even if you don't want a soap dispenser, always consider doing something like this with the builder, because if you ever want to have a reverse osmosis system, having this here is very easy to remove. And at some point, this can become your setup for your reverse osmosis system for your water quality. Because if you don't do that, you're gonna have to drill another hole into the quartz, which who wants to do that? Just have the builder do it. Again, for what it costs to do the soap dispenser, it just makes too much sense not to do it with the builder. In addition, we now come to our gas stovetop. This community is a gas community. Now, I talk with people about this all the time, but obviously with new construction, most of the new construction here in Jacksonville, Northeast Florida is going to have, it's gonna be gas communities. Typically, anytime you go to 2010 or older, a lot of those communities are going to be more electric or propane, but not so much with the gas. So again, I like to bring that up because a lot of people who come from up north or out west, they want gas. And I want to make sure they understand what that really means when it comes to looking at different neighborhoods and different ages of homes. But this is a beautiful monogram gas cooktop. It's a 6-burner gas stove. They did a beautiful vented hood up here as well with a wood exterior finish. So again, just continues that aesthetic with all of the wood cabinetry. And it's a darker wood, which may feel a little more masculine, but really transitions very well with those lighter wood floors. They also did some nice open floating shelves on the side, so those become focal points to be able to, create more of a showpiece for people when they come in. And then, as mentioned, you have tons of soft close, tons of Cheez-Its too, tons of soft close cabinets as well to go with it. Just really well done. And one thing that we actually noticed as I was walking through this home is they even have something here, which seems so simple, but it's really cool how you can actually do a built-in here with your drawer. So again, for spoons and knives and forks and all that, and miscellaneous silverware and other utensils, it's all built in. So I think that's kind of cool. It's very minimal, not something that's gonna be like a showstopper, so to speak, but still kind of cool to see overall because we don't see it very often. Then we have our Monogram microwave oven combo. Now there probably is an option where you could do a double oven here and you could do a microwave somewhere else down below in your kitchen. So again, if you wanna know what options you have for that, do let me know. More cabinet space up top. We then come to over here, which becomes almost an extension of your kitchen, but also this can be used for additional storage. So you do have tons of storage options here. We do have some lighted up cabinets in here with the glass fronts. And then on the other side over here is going to be our pantry. And it is a walk-in pantry. It's not the largest pantry we've ever seen, but by putting some custom cabinets in there, it definitely helps maximize and utilize the space. And then again, if you want to close it off while you have guests over, you do have a sliding door here, a pocket door, just to be able to close off the space. And back here is gonna be your door to your one-car garage, which we, again, it's a very standard garage, so not really, doesn't make a ton of sense to, do much with it. So that's really, or to show it. So overall though, that's really gonna be, in my opinion, one of the best pieces of this house, which is that kitchen and living room setup. Now let's go and check out that primary. And then from there, we will wrap this up outside as we also go over where we're at today and just why this is the next big community here in Jacksonville. Let's now get into this primary bedroom. And this is probably one of the features of this house that I absolutely love the most. Part of it is it's just a nice wide open space. Again, those 12-foot ceilings make a huge difference. You still get a tray, which again, I love my trays. So that also gives it some more height. But then you get this wall of windows. And to have this much natural light coming into the space, it is just such an inviting feeling that, again, keeps it light and bright and open, which is what I look for when, I'm looking at, homes for myself. Maybe it's not what you're looking for, maybe it is, but regardless, it is nice to have that. Then we get to the his and hers closets. Now, what I love that this builder did is the builder did do some custom closets here to kind of show you what you could do with the space. These are gonna be upgrades if you wanna do yourself. But in general, it gives you an idea of what you can do if you desired it. It then will take us to having these smaller French door effect as we come into our primary bathroom, which I do like too, because sometimes they don't put these doors in and you want to have some separation. So in this case, the builder gave you just that. And then when we come to our primary, just my goodness. It's a great size space. You don't feel tight, you don't feel claustrophobic. The tall ceilings help with that as well. But then we get to having a massive standalone tub right next to our oversized shower here. So this shower, this is truly, sometimes people joke this is almost like a car wash, so to speak, but this shower, it's a nice walk-in, it's all one level. So if you don't want to have a step up, step down, you have that ability with this. It's all going to have the water flow off to the side over here. So this is gonna be your drain all the way across the side. You have all your controls, which, goodness gracious, I've never seen controls like this. And then you do have a nice ledge here for your soaps, your shampoos, stuff like that. And again, you don't get one head, you don't get two heads. You get 3 shower heads, with one of them being a rain head. So again, something that's going to be an upgrade, but I highly recommend thinking about if it's something you ever wanted. Because again, that's one of those things that you do with the builder, you do not do after the fact, because it's gonna cost you a lot more. And that's something I always try to key in on. And again, we do have this floating seat here too. So I personally like this, just to be able to take a second, to be able to, if you need to shape your legs, or if you just need to take a second to, relax after you maybe worked out for the day. It's just nice to have. But again, as we go through this, I always like to also bring up the fact that, when you work with someone like myself, I am constantly looking at, what exactly you want to do with your home when you are building with a builder, and helping you determine what you should do with the builder and what you may actually prefer to do with after the build, because it could save you some money. Just recently, I had a client who I worked with, and that client decided that they were going to do the screened-in enclosure for their back patio without the builder, because it would save them a couple $1,000s to do after the fact. So again, if you want to know more about what makes sense to do with or without the builder, call, text, email me. But as we continue to move through this, I do want to highlight they did do a lot of the same cabinet countertops and cabinets that we saw in other parts of the house. They actually did a tile wall with this transom to give natural light coming into your primary bathroom. This tile matches the tile that's in the shower as well, so I do like that uniformity. And then again, you get some nice large sinks to go with it, and you still get that open floating closet for your linens and stuff like that as well. And then you do have your water closet off the back, separated from everything, tucked away, which just makes a lot of sense as well. Then we have this door here that takes us into our laundry room. So this was the space I was telling you about earlier that we'll get to. And the reason why I wanted to hold off on it is because I always like to show off when a builder gives access to the laundry room from the primary, because it just makes it so much more efficient for you as the homeowner, and it just makes a lot of sense. But here, the builder did a stackable washer dryer. You obviously could do a side-by-side as well. You have plenty of space for that. And by doing a stackable, they give you tons of cabinet space as well in here, which if you need it, which may never hurt to have, it's great to be able to see that you could do it with a space like this. Then we do have our nice deep sink here as well to go with the laundry room. And they even did a tile backsplash here to kind of finish it off, which was very smart to do, because anytime you have a wet space, you want to have either quartz or tile off in the back wall to keep that water off of the drywall, because drywall and water don't mix very well. But that's going to kind of wrap up the inside of the house. We are now going to check out that beautiful backyard. You're not going to miss this. There's actually a feature back there that I have never seen before, so it even surprised me. So let's get to that right now. So now as we get to the back of the house, we get to our backyard, there's some really cool features here that I've never seen before that I definitely want to kind of explain to you, because even you might be like, really? But I think it's a really cool thing. So starting off, we do have our covered back patio or back porch. This is a really great size with the 12-foot ceiling height. We do have the wood inlay that the builder did here, which is an upgrade, but they continued the aesthetic of how they did the front. And again, keep in mind, this is something that you could screen in as well if you desired, if you built this floor plan with the builder. Again, you may decide to do it after the fact of the builder, but you have that ability regardless with a plan like this to screen it in. Then we come to our outdoor kitchen. Now this outdoor kitchen, they did some nice things with this. So what I'm gonna point out is obviously with the kitchen itself. So we do have our nice big sink here. Has a topper for it, so it kind of keeps the interior of the sink, from rusting potentially, or just, getting too dirty. So that's kind of a cool feature there. We get tons of cabinet space with it as well. We also do have some nice quartz or granite countertops out here. So again, a darker look to it, offsets with that lighter wall here. And this wall, I do want to point out, this is a full wall. This is something that you always have to kind of think about when you are building a home in some of these newer neighborhoods, because a lot of these newer neighborhoods, they're going to require this 4-foot metal fence that you see right behind me, and you may not like that. So how do you get privacy if you can't have it with your fencing? Well, this is a great way to get that privacy to where you could make it another aesthetic point of the house, where you do a half wall, or in this case, they did a full wall with it. And I have a client right now who's doing a half wall themselves with a house being built by ICI, and they're going to screen in the top instead, so you still get some good airflow with that as well. Then we do have our mini fridge, and we wrap it up with our Coyote, oversized gas grill. So again, for those, summer days where you want to come out and grill, but you don't want to, sweat your butt off, having this covered with the ceiling fan allows you to have all of that and more. So just really great use of the space overall. Then we get to this part of the home, and this is going to be our pool. Now you may look at this, you may ask yourself, what do you mean pool? This isn't a pool, Justin. I mean, that's like a foot of water there. And then we have this, ping pong table. Well, here's what's really cool about how they did this pool. They actually have this as a movable pool. So there are settings that you can press and have access to that will actually lower the height of this pool. So instead of being a 1 foot height, down to your ankles, you could actually make this a full usable pool, but you also have the ability to raise it up if you don't want to use it for the winter, and it becomes the same height as the rest of this back porch. So just one of those things that definitely gives you that ability to utilize it for many different options, and something that we do not see all that often on this channel. So this is probably the first time I've actually seen something like this. And by the way, the ping pong table is movable. It's not attached. So just, again, really cool concepts and that we don't see very often. Maybe we'll see it more in the future, but in general, just very different. So if you want to know how much this pool cost, reach out to me. I did get that price from the builder, so I can tell you just how much this pool did cost, with it being able to be moved up and down. But then as we finish it up, we do have our nice gas fire pit out here, which overlooks our lake. So just a very pleasant place to hang out, just very relaxing overall. In an area that, again, you can utilize this area in the summer, you can utilize this area in the winter. You have many different options there at your disposal. So just a great use of the backyard as a whole. So that's gonna wrap up though the walkthrough. Let's now discuss where we're at today, who the builder is on this if you hadn't caught it yet. And we'll also talk about the price of this floor plan, the incentives that the builder's offering right now, and just why this could be the neighborhood for you and your family when you move and live here in Jacksonville. So what did you think about this walkthrough? I mean, me personally, I love the view from the living room here. Having this super tall ceilings with the living room, the way it opens to the kitchen, the beautiful kitchen the builder did here, and then obviously the wraparound stairs. You don't find that with many floor plans here in the Jacksonville, Northeast Florida area. So to have that's a very cool thing. And again, this is a ICI built house. ICI is, Florida, semi-custom to custom home builder. They'll build on your own lot, but they also build in communities like the one we're in today. And what I love about ICI, and not saying other builders can't do the same thing, but ICI has that ability to say, hey, we will work with you on any changes you'd want to make to our floor plans, no matter how extravagant or different they are, so long as they fit within the community guidelines, and so long as they also fit within your budget, because they'll do anything at a cost. So overall, that's a very cool aspect that you don't get with every builder here, but builders like ICI do give you that. So if you're someone who loves some of these floor plans that you've seen on our channel or other people's channels, and you want to make sure that you can design it the way you want it, reach out to me with a call, a text, and emails, and we can go over all of that with which builders allow for more customization and which builders allow for less customization from their base floor plan. But this house is currently located here in the Everrange Master Plan community, and it's specifically in the Mariposa section or neighborhood within Everrange. And this is the first true neighborhood being developed in Everrange. And it's really cool because it's really close to the amenity center that is still in development, but should be done within the next couple months. So you have that ability to walk or a very short golf cart right away to get to those amenities. And again, it's that next big community that's been developed by the Park Group, who's very notorious around here for developing other major communities such as Nocatee, E-Town, Pablo Creek Reserve, and they are also developing the newest phases in Glen Kernan Golf and Country Club. So they have a great reputation around here, and they work with a lot of great builders such as ICI Homes for a lot of their neighborhoods. So overall, it is definitely something that if you are looking to move and live here in Jacksonville, call, text, email me, or at the description, in the description of this video, there will be a link to my calendar if you want to set up a time for us to meet on Zoom or a face-to-face. Whatever works for you, I'm happy to help meet you halfway to help go over any questions you have for your move to the area. Because again, you'll have a lot of different options to choose from for not just with builders and neighborhoods, but also with realtors. It's important to work with the right realtor that has connections with the builders to be able to help guide you through the process to get you the best result possible. And I work with a lot of different buyers, a lot of different builders to help ensure that the home you get in the day is the home you wanted from start to finish. But in regards to this one, this is a beautiful floor plan. Just to quickly touch on too where Everrange is located, we are conveniently located here in Everrange, right off of US 1. So again, if you need to get to Mayo Clinic, you're 10 minutes, 15 minutes away from Mayo Clinic. If you want to go to the St. John's Town Center, about 15 minutes or so. That's really the hub of commercial, restaurants, shops, and stuff like that here in Jacksonville. If you get to the airport, you're about 45 minutes away, and the beach is only about 20 minutes or so away as well. So you are very conveniently located to most major attraction here in the Jacksonville, Florida area. Also, the reason why a lot of people move to the Jacksonville, Florida area is because prices are still very much affordable compared to, and maybe better price compared to other major cities like Atlanta, which is 6 hours away, Miami, which is 5 hours away, Tampa, which is 3.5 to 4, or Orlando, that's about 2.5 hours away. So that does bring a lot of draw for people to the area because, again, they can still travel those other cities without paying those bigger city prices, so to speak, for homes over there. But getting back to this house, this is, like I said, a very customized home. So again, the price on this one with the pool, with everything they've done in it, they currently have this one priced kind of around that $1.8 million range when they will eventually go to sell it. Again, they don't have any plans to do that anytime soon because it just opened within the last month of recording this video. But again, the base price of this is still a very great starting price. So that 1.8 is not where you may necessarily be at for a home like this. So when it comes to this specific floor plan, this is their Pablo 2 floor plan. What makes it the Pablo 2 is the fact that they actually changed the stairwell to make it to where it actually goes and wraps around the side in front of the house, whereas it used to be more like a causeway right there in the middle to be able to keep the overall area of the house wide open when you come in. So that is something I actually really like about what they did with the Pablo 2. But in addition, this is a 4-bedroom with an office, 3.5 bath floor plan as you saw today. It also is about 3,309 square feet, so it's a great size. And it's almost one of the biggest floor plans you can get here in Mariposa, as the developer does limit the size of the homes to about 3,400 square feet in Mariposa. In addition, you get the 3-car garage, and you get all of that with the base price with some really good standards for right around $795,900. So that's a great starting price. It is always subject to change, so what it is now may not be what it is in the future. But again, once you start to factor in lot premium, design center finishes, structural finishes, as talking with the builder about, you could definitely end up closer to that $850,000 to $900,000 range once it's all said and done. Now, if you want that pool, like the one you saw outside, that pool was $85,000. So generally speaking, in general, if you are looking to do a pool with a home like the one we saw today, assume you're probably looking at about $100,000, $150,000 for a fairly standard pool here. So again, if you're at $850,000, $900,000, you're probably gonna be about $1 million, maybe $1.1 million at the top end to get a lot of what you see here today in your custom or semi-custom Pablo 2 with ICI homes. And then lastly, the incentives. This definitely does help control some of that price increase. But right now here in Mariposa, ICI, and again, subject to change, so it can change at any time, but currently ICI is giving $60,000 towards your design center finishes. That's a very large chunk of money to use right away when designing your home the way you want it, or even similar to how you saw in this video. And between you and I, you can always ask for more. Worst thing to do is say no, and I've been very successful in getting additional concessions for you as a consumer when working with you and working with the builders such as ICI in this case. So again, if you want to know more, call me, text me, email me as you think about your move here to the Jacksonville, Florida area and living here. I am a born and raised local, so I can tell you all about the area and how it's changed over the years as well. But in general, I personally love this area. A lot of people do when they do move here as well. But do reach out to me. In the description, like I said, will be a link to my calendar as well, so we can discuss further on a Zoom call. And overall, I will see you guys again in our next video. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and also at the end, you will see some additional homes here in Everett Range to check out. So I highly suggest you do that as well. But besides that, I'll see you guys again next time.